you know, it's one of those things where you gotta do a roll-up, but I don't find it particularly insightful.
Okay.
So if you really wanted to just kind of, I mean, I'm happy to answer any questions, but at the end of the day, I'm probably gonna have to flip down to department details, which are coming later in the report.
That's fine, I can see them.
Revenues are a little more easily identified because we list every line item in the revenue roll-up. This doesn't have every line item.
You guys okay with just waiting? Okay. Page 9, or 9?
Page 2 of that, so page 10 really is the first. Or no,
Sorry.
no, wait a second, you might be right. I might have overflipped. Yes, you are right, page 9. Village board.
Okay, so here's the 7,500 was adopted for 4th of July, and then the year-to-date is 23,407.
So right now, as of 6:30, we've only spent $250 more. Now we're waiting on expenditures to come in. There's a couple bands that still have to get paid, they just need their paperwork in on the optimal time frame. So all our donations we bill out in our miscellaneous receivables accounts, so all the donations are accountable for, but there are some lagging expenditures that will be coming in. I think most of them actually come in by now.
But I don't understand. So in the expenditure line, it says 23,407.
Correct.
Okay, so that's almost the amount, is what you're saying. There's a few left. And then the revenue, where does the revenue line come in?
Last revenue line item is 23,150. Right? See it?
Yeah, up there, okay.
So if you subtract the difference between the revenues and the expenditures, we've spent out of municipal funds about $250.
Of the 7,500 we budgeted.
No, we're not going to hit 7,500. I think we're going to hit about 4,500. It's going to be our end of the day number. But
so you expect another
about another $2,000, $3,000 maybe.
Okay.
I know we're not going over.
Oh, yeah.
I know what our commitments are. So this is the way for those details to work out and be processed.
Does anyone have other questions before I go? Okay, no. What does pilot, under revenues, pilot for water and parking mean?
Municipal utilities other than sewer are eligible. The village will charge a property tax equivalent to the utilities against the utility asset values. So that's what the village of Shorewood does. The theory is that you know, when we talk about our utilities, we talk about them as enterprise funds, which basically means they're a business, they're self-supporting, and the liability for tax equivalent is consistent with that business model. So the utilities will pay the general government the equivalent for the property taxes, and those are recorded in the general fund.
So for parking, it's the parking utility is utilizing our land?
Well, the parking utility has effectively their own land.
Yep, and then they are paying us taxes on
and then
that.
they're paying us taxes on that value of that land.
Never knew that. I also had the surveys and plans. So surveys, here's another one. Surveys, studies, and plans. Oh, it came out of village board. Okay, so that would have been those two. What did we have budgeted in that line? Nothing?
Well, we don't budget anything, and I am not completely satisfied with that. So as we prepare a budget, I'll be working with Rebecca to see if we're going to, even though we may not have anything specific, I think there's a pretty routine item that something comes up board related that might be a plan, might be a contingency on it. So we'll look at that and probably look to put a budget number in there for the board to at least have some beginning flexibility without going, quote, over budget.
Did we used to just use general fund, or did we take that out of our policy? We'll get to it, but I thought general fund reserve was for studies. one-time studies?
Well, anything over budget ultimately is from reserves, that's just inherent.
Okay, I'm just,
The good fortune we've had is that we're generally more under budget than over budget, so.
okay. Anybody have any other questions on that page? If not, page 10, I don't have anything.
One quick
Yes.
question, just for my own education. There are two line items in expenditures that seem kind of similar to me, salaries and wages and professional fees, court legal. Just wondering what the difference is between the two of them.
One is staff, one is city attorney.
Okay, that would have been my guess, but I just wanted to confirm.
Oh, wait, you mean village attorney? Is that what you just said?
Well, if I meant to say, I think I said
You
city.
said city, no, okay, so it's, so this would be in addition to the 90,000 budgeted
Yeah.
for general village service attorney fees?
Well, let's refresh our memory on that. Let me just flip to that.
And why did you?
65,000 budgeted for general legal.
And this is in addition to that?
And then this is court specific.
Okay.
And they report their time that they spend on municipal court separately. So
Okay.
this is not an allocation, it's an actual time.
And it just gets billed it gets billed separately, like under a different contract, or is it all under that same?
It's a separate billing statement for the month.
But does it all go under our contract, our one contract?
Yes.
With,
Yes.
for that service, okay. Yeah, I have nothing else. If you, any other questions on that page, otherwise we'll go to page 11. And we're in village manager. I had a question about salaries and wages. Isn't 189,000 low for the village manager's office?
Well, there's, when we do budgeting, there's some staff allocations that get spread out to utilities, basically. You don't see that in this report, that's part of the proposed budget, those tables. So it's not the full wages that are reflected here, but it's the wages that are not supporting our utilities, because they're supposed to be standalone, so we have some wage allocations.
And then other services, contracts and fees, the wellness and EAP contracts, we contract with our health provider for those?
Horton does wellness. Who does EAP? Do you remember, Rebecca?
EAP is, that was an add-on to the insurance program that was selected, which is my understanding.
So what do we have, United Health?
WPS.
UPS, that's right.
Yep.
And Horton is someone different?
Horton is,
Wellness. Right.
Right,
well, sorry.
but I mean, they're just a different company? It's not our health provider, so it's a
No,
different.
it's not, yeah, so
Okay.
they're the people who we work with in order to fit our insurance and to look at our plan design. They're actually going to come in to talk to you guys in September.
Okay. All right. And then for the merit pay for 10,000, are we expecting to use that, and if so, when?
That is a placeholder in the budget to account for the merit pay. We never actually charge merit pay to that line item. It's just lets you know the extent of merit pay affects the budget. Everybody's merit pay is different, and it ultimately just shows up in their individual salary budgets for their different departments.
But can we, I know we're going to be discussing this coming into budget, we've never gotten how much it actually costs. How much does that total per year? Is it
My recollection is there was a report on it, but you will get one if you have it.
Okay, excellent.
So I've seen the numbers.
Okay, so 2000, maybe for 2017, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
We did run it,
We might have.
we ran over the numbers. but I don't remember specifically if that report came to the board.
And then citizen committee recruitment?
That is the description of the current year's expenditures for that line item.
But I mean, what, 12 grand's a lot.
No, that's not the budget, current year expenditures.
That's the budget. I know current year's 2,000. I'm just saying, we budgeted a lot.
Well, that is your, again, the detail of the budget reflects a number of activities that comprise that 12,000. So far, the only thing that has been spent has been the 2,000 for citizen committee recruitment. Again, it describes it's a note for the expenditure, not for the budget. The budget is broader.
Well, I mean, there's other things that go into that?
Yeah. And that would be in the 2018 budget book if you have the detailed page on that. I'm sorry, I don't have that.
Okay, because I'm just thinking.
But there's mailings, notifications to the community, stuff like that. It's all kind of, that's a transfer from the transition from the marketing into this line item, instead of a separate fund.
Oh, I see. It's part of a bigger, and citizen
Yeah.
committee recruitment was the only expenditure so far.
So far, right, that's the message I'm trying to convey.
Okay, so so I'm just wondering if we could use that for studies as well, but I guess not.
Well, again, my opinion is that whatever you approve to spend, we record in a place that's consistent with that. And again, in aggregate, it all kind of washes against each other. Clearly, if you had a large expenditure that you knew you weren't going to spend money on, you might be a little more aggressive on that instead of just what you need to spend. So, but this is a pretty modest amount, and I know there are plans for additional correspondence and communications for the remainder of the year for some of these funds. Tyler's in charge.
Okay, I'm just noting at the end of the year, like, we're going into budget, so the third quarter will be really helpful to
By
see
all
where you
means.
take it and where you put it, where it makes the most sense. Okay, thank you. So if nobody had, do you have any?
I just had kind of more of a clarification question about two of the things. One was the programming about resident mediation. I didn't know, is that something that we offer as a community? Okay. And then my other question was just about the auto allowance. What is that?
That's under the village manager's
Yeah.
contract for a stipend for using her own vehicle for municipal business.
Okay.
But can I give one update on that mediation?
Yeah.
So they have not had a contract with the village so this is through Waukesha Mediation Center.
Okay.
When I got here, I didn't really even know that this was something that we'd done, because we have not used it in the past, or in the near distant past.
Mm-hmm.
So they came in and we spoke with them a little bit. It would be like in times where the village would have two willing private property owners who would need to work something out if they were agreeable to using it. So it's actually a resource that is passed on to the HRC and to their chair and liaison, because it's something that they mentioned within the course of their discussion. So all the legwork's done in terms of updating a contract. It doesn't mean that you have to use it,
Sure.
but it just puts it in place. And in years past, the village actually had a brochure to advertise it. I just don't think that it's something that we've done.
Yeah, I mean,
Promoted very recently.
It's actually what my dad is a mediator for a city in
Oh.
California. So, I think as a community, it's a really wonderful service, but I just didn't even know that that was something that was something that was available for residents. And so I think maybe that's something that we work with the HRC to make sure that it's really communicated that residents can use it. I think it could be something really beneficial for a lot of people.
I gave them the information on the contract because it was one of their points of their subcommittee, so wanting them to provide feedback back.
Sure.
And then bring it.
Okay.
So that to the board.
Where did the expenditure for the moving allowance?
That's another general administration that's coming up.
Oh, it's okay. Yes.
That's one more general question here. I notice on kind of each of these department expense reports, expenditures, there's a line item for liability and property insurance. I'm wondering, does each department carry its own certificate of insurance, or is this kind of their portion of a broader, of one big insurance policy covering everyone?
Right, we have a very large spreadsheet. I identifying all of our different insurances. We trace back origins of costs, be it vehicles, equipment, public officials, police liability, that, and we spread it out.
Okay. So it's each.
We're consolidating that somewhat because, again, that I think comes from a time when you used to have pre-Act 10, you used to have maintenance of service levels for things like the library and the police department, and those really aren't as many factors anymore. But we still want to spread it out to, you know, the library to show that they have a cost of doing business for their facilities, the utilities, there's a cost of doing business to have that insurance coverage. And then we've done some consolidation as far as the rest of it. More of it ends up in single budgets, less of it ends up in a customer service department. And so that's how that trend is going.
Thanks.